Good morning, children. Children, today we are starting with our new chapter in biology, chapter number 6, Cell, the structural unit of life. Children, in this chapter we learn about a basic unit of life, a basic structural and functional unit of life, cell. Children, in this chapter we learn about discovery of cell, different type of cell, cell membrane, cell wall, nucleus and different cell organelles. Children, then we discuss about a difference between a basic plant cell and animal cell, the different organelles and the structural difference between them. So children, today we are starting with our first chapter in biology, cell, the structural unit of life. Cell. Cell is the fundamental unit of life. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. It is known as a structural and functional unit of life because whole body is made up of cell. It is known as fundamental unit of life because all functions regulate inside the cell. Children, based on number of cells, we are having two type of cells, unicellular and multicellular. Unit 1. Some organisms are constituted by a single cell. These organisms are called unicellular organisms. Children, we are having lots of examples of unicellular organisms, amoeba and paramoeuiem. Multicellular organisms, number of. Some organisms are constituted by many cells. These are called multicellular organisms. Now children, first of all we are going with discovery of cell. In 1665, Robert Hooke, an English scientist, saw cells in a thin slice of cork with his crude microscope. Children, in this diagram we are having that simple one, crude microscope, and the observations of that Robert Hooke. Children, here you can see that what he observed. He observed a structure like honeycomb. He took a slice of thin cork, and when observed in microscope, what he observed? He observed like a honeycomb. Children, here you can see in the second diagram we are having a structure like honeycomb. Name them cellulae or cells. Children, in Latin name, cell means a compartment or a small room. His discovery indicate for the first time that living organism consists of number of small structures or unit. Children, here you can compare our cell present in our body just like a building blocks. A huge buildings are there. They are made up of walls. The walls are made up of small bricks. So the bricks are smaller or structural unit of a huge building. Same scenario here, children. A cell is a single unit which is a structural and functional unit of our life, all living organisms. Now we have to know history of cell. Children, in 1665 Robert Hooke discovered the cell. In 1674 A. van Leeuwenhoek studied living for the first time. In 1831, Robert Brown discovery and name nucleus in a cell. In 1838 to 39, Skeldon and Schwann formulated cell theory. And at last, 1855, Rudolf Virchow stated the third postulate of cell theory. Children, here we are having efforts of scientists which prove or which give us about information, the structural unit of life, cell, and propose the cell theory. 1673, Antony van Leeuwenhoek looked at the pond scum and saw small creatures. Leeuwenhoek also saw that the blood cells differed between animals. So bacteria and realized that yeast was alive. So what he observed a different varieties of organisms and different varieties of cell. 1838, Sheldon conclude that all plant parts are made up of cell. 1839, Schwann stated that all animal tissues are made up of cell. So between 1838 to 1839, Sheldon and Schwann observed that all living organisms, either it's a plants or animals, are made up of cell. Cell theory, which is proposed by three scientists. 1838-1839, Sheldon and Schwann developed beginning of the cell theory. First one, all organisms are composed of one or more cells. The cell is the basic unit of in living organisms or living things. And 1858, Virchow added to the cell theory that all cells come from pre-existing cell. All the cells, the new cells arise from pre-existing cell. So children, in this module, in this lecture, we discuss about the basic structure of cell, its discovery and cell theory. Next lecture, we will discuss about different shape, size and number of the cell. Bye children, have a nice day.